Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We are the Real Pineapple, and this is Hunter here. I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing, sir?
Doing so good. Glad to be recording with you, bud. How are you doing?
Dude, I am doing well. Won both my fantasy leagues, and you won your fantasy league, so congratulations.
Riding high.
Yeah, it's always nice when we're not playing each other, so we can actually enjoy the fact we're winning in fantasy.
There's still a little smack talk, but it doesn't cut quite as deep.
True. I believe I play week 8 though, so I will be.
Oh yeah, I got you marked on my calendar. Don't worry.
I will be. That'll be an intense week of recording there.
yeah. Well, it'll be like super. People will be listening, being like, I feel like they kind of hate each other right now. They're like, yeah, they'll probably be right.
Yeah, it'll be super hard to hear you record, especially since you'll be losing. But it'll be.
Yeah. Just get on with your thing.
But
talk about the ponies.
Speaking of losing, I think we both lost as far as this is good. So what's funny is I'm actually really curious to get your thoughts on this, because here's the thing. Let's just get this out of the way. There is no reason for this movie to exist in a theatrical setting. There's no reason this should have ever been put out in theaters. This should have been on Netflix or one of those Amazon Prime specials you get for being a Prime member. But I will say, Scott, I wasn't angry like I was in like Zoolander 2 or like Norm in the North or something like that. This is just, it's bad, but it's not as painful as I was expecting, is what I will say.
Definitely. I 100% agree with you. This is those kind of movies that going into it, you're really expecting to like be fuming and like Norm of the North.
Yeah.
The only thing behind this, though, is that this series has been going on for a long time, and they have quite a following, and they've developed the characters to a point to where I was talking to one of my coworkers who has 3 young children who all love this series, and he's like, "Man, you might be a little bit lost because you don't even know about Light Bright Pony or like Rainbow Pony or blah 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 blah. Like, you might be lost." I'm like, I'm not really worried about that. But just to comment on the following that it has, and that like people are actually kind of amped up for this thing. Yeah, I was not like angry at this. I was expecting to be really pissed off, but I'm really curious to hear from you. Like, going into something like this, you know what you're getting yourself into, right? We get that what this is. Like, we know there's going to be some song and dance. We know there's going to be, like, friendship and love and ponies and hearts and rainbows and stuff. Like, it's understood what this is, right? Is that what your feeling was going into this?
Yeah, so I will say I remember this vaguely from when I was a kid, because I remember little girls having these goddamn ponies, so I kind of remember a little bit about it. I remember Rainbow Dash for some reason, probably because it reminds me of Spin Dash from Sonic, so maybe that's why. And then I knew Twilight Sparkle, so I knew those two. Honestly, I'm more familiar with this because of the Bob's Burgers episode, where they call it the Equestronauts, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm more familiar with it based on probably that Bob's Burgers spoof than anything. But I'm reading the synopsis directly from Rotten Tomatoes. A dark force threatens Ponyville, original, and the main 6 with MANE, by the way, Twilight Sparkle, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, which sounds pornographic, but whatever, Fluttershy, and Rarity embark on an unforgettable journey beyond Equestria, where they meet new friends and exciting challenges on a quest to use the magic of friendship to save their home. So let me just get this out of the way. I said that this didn't upset me. It pissed me off at a couple points. There's a point, I think maybe, so the opening of the movie, I was already rolling my eyes. So let me just kind of paint the picture for our audience here. Thank God for Movie Pass because I didn't have to pay for this. So I was like, thank God I can see this at a 10:30 matinee, and not technically pay for it. What really was just kind of put in perspective here, I was supposed to go to see this Saturday, and I got so high that I just like I can't handle ponies right now, so I turned around and went home. So I went back out, take two, yesterday to see this, and so I was the only person in the theater for probably about 10 minutes or so, like where the previews are showing. And this group of about 30 people come in, right? Like 6 or 7 parents and then their kids. And these kids are decked out. Like I cannot stress enough, Scott, decked out. Like decked out like I am going to a Marvel movie in My Little Pony beanies and shirts, and one of them had a sweatshirt, and they all had the dolls of their favorite My Little Pony.
Nice.
And I went, holy shit, they are taking this seriously. And you know what though, honestly, good for them. I'm happy that those kids already have something that's the thing. I think a lot of people go like, "Oh, you guys just hate kids movies." It's like, no, we just hate shitty kids movies. We just hate shitty film.
Yeah, yeah, and like that goes back to like the demographic for this. I feel like is even younger than we're used to, even with like a like Zootopia per se.
Yeah, no. This is by far, I would say, maybe the as far as the demographic, the youngest film we've reviewed, I would say, is probably this one. With that said, though, all that kind of goodwill and oh, that's kind of cute. They had this really weird short that they played before it. I can't think of the name of it. Did that weird you out like it weirded me?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what was going on. But I was like, he's kind of got to get you in the mood of what you're to be expected coming up. Really, I mean, there's this chick throwing little color objects that are also bunny-like creatures down a rainbow water slide. I mean, it's like, okay, this is it. I'm in My Little Pony. Let's do it. That was so. It did catch me off guard because, like, okay, now I know where I am. My setting was
Yeah, talk to me.
so I actually went to Alamo Draft House, which I know you had mentioned that you went to in Austin. Apparently,
yes,
they
sir.
have one here. Really cool place.
Oh, you lucky motherfucker! Damn you!
And it was definitely the wrong choice of movie to view there. It was me and one other person, well, like a mom and like two kids, two young children.
Perfect.
And I felt that was definitely the most awkward I've ever felt in a theater because like the theater isn't very big and you like it's not like a regular theater. You can kind of like sneak in, sneak out. No one really knows. But like you got waiters there who are like coming up and like making sure you have enough to drink and like okay, I gotta commit to this. So I was like, I'll just pretend to writing and not like I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, that was kind of my setting. As I was like, okay, definitely like the most awkward movie going experience I've had in is. It's been years since I've felt that out of place in a movie, and we've watched some weird movies and some like movies that were not meant for my particular demographic, but this is definitely by far the most awkward.
Were you buzzed at least, or?
No, not enough. I would say.
Oh, dude, I was white girl. Like, okay, I wasn't white girl wasted. I was probably a solid 6. And I was probably about solid 8 for being high, because I said, you know what, I was like, I'm going to give this movie every chance it can to just not make me sad. So
And that's really the key with this thing for us, is going in with an open mind, as we try to do with every movie. But this one was particularly challenging to do.
So I will say the opening of the where they do the pony version of "We Got the Beat," I went, "Oh boy, that's not a strong start movie." So that was a giant eye roll. I feel like you probably felt my eye roll from Denver, and then they're talking about this festival they're putting on. I think it's Twilight Sparkle. That's the friendship one, right? Isn't it Twilight Sparkle? I think.
You talking about the Princess of Friendship, or are we talking about
Twilight Sparkle. I'm so proud of myself for remembering that. But she, they're talking about this other pony that sings. I think it's Songbird Serenade, who's voiced by Sia, which the singer Sia, or I think it's Sia. It's Sia. No, not Ciara, not the Goodies singer, the one who sings Chandelier, which is actually a good song.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but what made me laugh, not laugh, but just eye rolls when they go, "Oh, she's a great singing pony. She should be the main event." I went, "God Almighty!" Movie. I face palmed on that, and there are pony puns out the ass on this movie.
So many pony puns.
Like I love a good pun or a terrible pun. Even I went, "Okay, movie." Like I was tapping out. I was like, "Okay, like enough's enough. Let's ease up," on the pony puns.
Go ahead.
No. You're all good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna talk about that. Like, that was a little bit of the saving grace of this movie for me, is that they didn't take themselves too seriously. Like, they were still a like through and through like children's movie that was like very naive and fun and very predictable, all that stuff. It's really catered for a younger, like very young audience, but they were still able to kind of like make fun of themselves at points and like throw in little jokes that weren't really necessarily for the older audience, but it was just to be like, hey, listen, we know what we are, and we're not afraid to like make fun of ourselves a little bit. And I definitely appreciated that. I felt like they tried. You could tell in this movie that they tried, and that's my biggest pet peeve with a lot of these movies.
That's fair.
Is clearly just for the money. Is that they just don't try at all, and they just let it go. It's always very simple plot, very simple like overall arcing, ebbs and flows of a movie that you would expect, but you could tell that they put thought into like the dialogue, and it wasn't just like this one giant song, even though there's a good amount of songs.
Okay, I have to combat you there, because you're saying that they put time into the dialogue. They damn sure they put time into the songs, because the songs in this movie, Jesus Christ on the Cross, they are so bad. There is not one song in this movie where I thought that was okay. Every song was especially the opening song, where I can't even remember it. I saw this movie a day, like less than 2 days ago. It's about like putting on the festival, if memory serves correctly.
Yeah, so like that's what it opens up as. The princess, what's her name? I mean,
Twilight ass, yeah, Twilight Sparkle, yeah.
Twilight nipples or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so she's like trying to put on this whole friendship festival, right? And like that's how it starts, is the friendship festival. And spoiler alert, this movie's about friendship.
What? Say what? Goddamn pony. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, it's so like going in an adventure. They get what is his name? The Storm King.
Okay, so sorry, I have to interrupt you real quick. If there were a few shining lights is a bit strong. A few specks. In Liev Schreiber, Ray Donovan himself, I think he was hamming it up like a motherfucker, but that almost helped with this movie, because he, like you said, this movie didn't take itself seriously, and he knew what this was. I'm sure he was like
Mm-hmm.
thinking, man, I could add a wing to my house. That would be really cool. Ray Donovan pays well, but these goddamn ponies still pay. They'll pay even better. So, you know, I actually, I don't know, man. He kind of warmed my heart a little bit. I was like, this wasn't
Because
as bad.
and he was like making fun of them too. He was like, oh, cupcakes and horseshoes and ponies, and he's like making fun of them to their face. And I thought that was kind of clever that they were able to just like throw it back in their face like that. It's like no, friendship is awesome.
I agree. Yeah. Um, so I gotta ask you. I mean, was there anything that just pissed you off about this, or?
Um, I, I don't. I found myself like checking myself, being like, could, and I know that we try to hold every movie to the same standard, but I feel like it's kind of hard to in this instance. I feel like this is a bit of an outlier, because we've seen things like Oogie Love, where like that was definitely made for a very young audience, but it was like really bad. Like obviously, people need to go check that one out. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely an all-time review of ours, but
Very true.
there are definitely good ways and bad ways to go about it, and there's like cute undertones about friendship, and um, one of the characters, Sky Star, I think is her name. Oh, Tempest, who is kind of like the evil
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, who's kind of like the evil unicorn. The reason
Pony.
that she's, excuse me, Pony. I'm gonna get butchered for that.
Yeah.
There's a point where the reason they find out that she's bad is because she had a bad friendship, and yes, this is all silly and cheesy and dumb and whatever, but they were able to tie it together, and definitely one thing that kind of took me out of the movie was I felt like the graphics for the ponies was worse than the landscape and like everybody else, because I feel like they kind of had to stick to this certain drawing,
Yeah.
like sketch, this certain mold that they had to use for these ponies, to make them look like they always look. But then it seemed like the background and everything else was where it is today, rather than maybe when the series started, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I thought the animation was inconsistent at points. It felt like it was kind of trying to walk that blend between like a 2D with like a 3D backdrop almost at points, and it just didn't really work. I will give the movie credit for one scene that was actually kind of well done. The initial takeover of Ponyville, Jesus Christ.
Equestria.
Yeah, exactly. The initial takeover by the Storm King and in Tempest Shadow, I thought was kind of diabolical for a kid's movie for this young of a setting. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Like, I feel like I thought the entire movie was gonna be way too cheery, and that was definitely gonna piss me off. But the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that they added this like darker side to it, like it was like, oh, a little bit intrigue, like what's actually gonna happen here? How are they gonna play it? That drew me back in for sure.
Yeah, and I'll be honest too. I think part of it, and I'm gonna have to be careful of this, but I fully acknowledge. I think part of it with having Movie Pass now is knowing I'm not spending my money for every movie. If that makes sense, it just
Right,
doesn't.
right.
It just doesn't anger me as much. But at
Does
the
it hit
same
quite
time,
close to home?
yeah, but
Wallet.
even taking that variable out of the equation, I remember when I saw something like Norman and North, or even the second Cars movie, or Monster Trucks, or Max Steel, and I just thought, Jesus Christ, these people should all be waterboarded for even letting this go to theaters. Dude, you didn't see Max Steel. It's fucking horrible. I never felt like that with this movie. Yes, is it ripping off some Disney stuff to a laughable extent? I mean, you can't see the Storm King and not think Hades, even from the way he moves and has his little minion, Grubber, who's voiced by Michael Pena, which is the second shitty thing I've seen him in as a Grubber. Between that and Ships, god damn it, Michael Pena, that second Ant-Man needs to come out so you can stop being a dumb crap. But, and then did you, when you saw the Sword King ship, I just started laughing really hard because all I thought was, man, someone was watching Treasure Planet and they just went, how close can we get to Treasure Planet without getting sued by Disney? And it's like, let's just change, this, and this. Perfect. Totally original ship. Not original at all. But I thought Emily Blunt, as much as it surprised me to say this, I thought her voice work was good. I thought Kristen Chenoweth, who, of course, is, an actual singer, as Princess Skystar, I thought she was good, and I thought Sia, I think it's Sia, maybe it's I don't know, I think it's Sia. I thought she has like Songbird Serenade. I don't know. The voice work in here wasn't. It felt like people just weren't phoning it in. You know what I mean? And then I was actually surprised by Zoe Saldana. I think she played the bird, Captain Soleno. I actually thought she was alright. This just didn't make me angry. That's all I can keep saying. And it's true, because I just left the theater and went, was that dumb? Good God, yes. Will I ever watch it again? No. But was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No. Was it Transformers? No. Transformers actually pissed me way more.
Definitely.
And that's longer and it has giant robots, so in theory I should like that more. But this movie about friendship, and this is gonna sound really sad before I throw it back to you before you get to our final thoughts, but with all the stuff that's been going on in the news recently, you could do way worse in this movie. And I just mean that in the sense of, this is something that you can take your kids to, and you know what? Kids need to learn to, not be so shitty to each other, honestly. I mean, God, read a message board. They'll definitely show you. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I just kind of left and I went, okay. If you had to take your kids to see this, I don't know. Like, I'm sitting here trying to almost defend it, but I'm honestly not even upset enough to even, like, be super mean to it. But, yeah, kind of throwing it back to you as we wrap up.
Yeah, definitely in the same boat as you. Walking out of it, it's like, I didn't hate it, but this is something I would never see on my own. This is something I would never make an effort to see again. But if I was in a situation where, like, I had, like, a cousin or a niece or a nephew or something who was into it, like, I would not mind going and taking them to that. It's one of those things, like, when you are in that role, like, you're just looking for the best of the worst. Like, you don't have a lot to choose from when it comes to kids. And sometimes they can be really bad, as we've talked about a little bit. And sometimes they can be okay. And I feel like this one was not meant for me or you, but
no.
We were not, like, from what I can tell from you, we weren't angry leaving it. I didn't feel that way when I left, and I was looking for it too. It's not that I was just kind of letting it happen. I think also expectations had a lot to play with this, because I was definitely expecting something really bad and cringe-worthy, and there was only a few moments, usually during the songs, and when someone was trying to give me a beer while during the middle of it, I was like, this, I feel like very awkward. But as a movie overall, it was fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it does help that we didn't have to pony up any money. But thank you. But but like I said, the songs are really bad. The songs are honestly, like, upsettingly so, and how just unoriginal they are. They're stuff that you would hear on Radio Disney and go, oh God, turn this off. But at the same time, the voice acting does work a lot better than it should. There's nothing about the plot. There's no, like, pony twist that you're gonna go, oh my God, that totally surprised me. When you find out Tempest Shadow's origin, I was laughing. I won't even lie to you, Scott. I was laughing so hard at the theater because I was sitting here thinking, okay, what is the most generic. Oh, yep, there it is. Cool. That's why she's evil. Boo hoo hoo. And would you be surprised if you found out that the Storm King maybe that isn't super loyal to Tempest Shadow? I mean, just come on, you just really.
Spoilers. Watch out.
Shut up. Yeah, shut up. But honestly though, there's way worse you could watch. I remember taking my sister to go see Like Mike, and I wanted to fucking shoot myself at the end of it. Probably because it was basketball too, and Little Bow Wow is a terrible rapper and actor. And anyways, but yeah, was this good? No. Would I watch this again? No. But was I pissed off? No. So I'm gonna give this, just because I'm sitting thinking about the songs and those actually did piss me off. I'm gonna give this a C minus. I mean, you can Redbox this or wait till it's on HBO, which I'm sure it will be in like 6 months. But yeah, C minus. I mean, and if the thing is, I will say too, is that the kids, I was way in the corner by myself as I should have been for this, but I was looking at the kids. And those kids were on the edge of their seats, and I've seen more kids movies I think than you and Colin. Don't know what this is about me, but I've seen movies, where the kids are like Pan. I remember kids were fucking fidgety during that, but these kids, they sat there the whole time. They were attentive. They were on the edge of their seats. They were clapping the songs. If it's engaging kids like that, I'm not gonna be the asshole who just says it's about ponies, fuck you. So, yeah, so C minus. It's not great, but it could have been way, way worse. So, yeah, Scott, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
Yeah, I been agreeing with you all pod on this one. My biggest thought overall was not the movie. It was definitely a 6'4", like grown man being in, not only getting a ticket for that movie, but also sitting in that movie, a small movie theater with kids, and a parent who is definitely judging me, as rightfully so. Like, I know that's fine with me. So my first and foremost thought was, I need to get out of here. So that was really clouding my judgment, and not to say that I didn't make a proper judgment on this movie. It really added to the whole experience of the movie, which we talk about a lot. How your experience of a movie affects your view of it. I completely agree with you. Grade wise, I think C minus is an excellent call for this one. It didn't make me angry by any means. I felt like the message was solid. Something that if I had kids, I wouldn't mind bringing them to, because it's not like there's anything raunchy or they're making dirty jokes or a lot of violence or anything. It's always all very tame, but you can tell that they put the effort in to create the jokes and create the dialogue that they needed to make this palatable. So yeah, I C minus.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it, honestly. It's not great, but And
I never thought I would say any of this stuff about this movie, right?
Dude, this reminded me of The Boss Baby, where I just sat there and was thinking, I'm not as angry as... And I think initially when I left, I was angry, but I just kind of sat, on the way home, I sat down, I thought about it, and went, yeah, there's just really, outside the songs, there's really no reason for me to just be pissed off at it. There is one scene where they inevitably have a fight about their friendship, and a Tempest Shadow goes, "Oh, it looks like friendship. Looks like I'm not the only person that friendship failed." And I went, "Damn, that's kind of fucked up." I was like, "What a mean pony." And then Twilight Sparkle goes, "Friendship didn't fail me. I failed friendship." And I kind of went, "You know what? That's cheesy as hell, but in the moment, it kind of works." And it kind of, I don't know, it kind of got me. It kind of got me a little bit.
That and the puns too. I actually kind of appreciated puns. There's Saddle Arabia. One of them was they got to the town and they're visitors. Apparently they were visitors at the very beginning of the movie. Yeah, we got here and all the stables were booked. So it's like there's a lot of horse puns, a lot of fun horse puns, like um, uh, bad spell service. That
God.
got our
The one
cupcakes
that
handed to us. Like there's like some cute ones in there that I think are probably for the grown-ups.
Yeah, I like I said, there were just some jokes. I mean, I rolled my eyes, I think, on every joke.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I will say though, the main event one that got me because I just sat there and went, Jesus Christ, you're shameless, and I mean that in the best way. So, yeah, there you go, guys. C minuses, but guys. I hope you have kids if you're seeing this, but what did you think of my little? I would actually be curious to hear like about the anthology because I don't.
Oh,
know
I thought you were
anything
gonna
about
say that you're gonna hear from the kids that see the Sawdust. No, I would. After seeing that, I don't think I want to get into that.
I'm kind of.
Because you know what the last movie was called? I don't even know if this was the last movie. The last one that it pulled up was the friendship something or other. Like I feel like friendship is like definitely the underlying theme in all of their movies and shows.
Well, I would imagine shows. So I mean, what's her name? Twilight Sparkle, I think is the most popular one. So.
Yeah, Twilight Sparkle.
You know, so
Twilight Sparkle.
Hey, you know what? I'd rather watch this than Twilight movie. So
I want our listeners to go look up in Urban Dictionary what a Twilight Sparkle is.
Is it something really terrible?
I don't know. Let's see if people find out. If not, create your own. Let's get this thing going.
There you go. Guys, let us know what you thought of this. If there's anyone out there, because I have a couple friends apparently who know about the anthology who are a couple years younger than me. So if someone knows about this, please humor us. I'm very actually kind of curious about this. But follow us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Podbean, and Google Music now at The Real Pineapple. Like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow our buddy Colin on Twitter at The Real, that's REEL O'Neill. And you can follow Scott on Twitter at
Newman the First.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. And by the way, go check out our sponsor for the month, which is Fangirl Cuddles, making the most awesome custom blankets. I'm actually I'm actually wrapped up in my Spider-Man blanket as we speak. So if you go ahead and visit them on Etsy at etsy.com/fangirlcuddles and like them on Facebook at Fangirl Cuddles, you can go ahead and use the promo code REALPINEAPPLE, REEL Pineapple, all caps, and get $5 off your order. You are welcome.
God. Right.
Guys, we'll have reviews up this weekend for The Foreigner, which is a new Jackie Chan movie, which I'm pumped for. I hope it's good. We'll also have a review up for the Star Wars trailer that dropped tonight during Monday Night Football. I think Colin would kill us if we review that without him, so we are going to wait for Colin on that one. And then I will have a review up for Season 1, Part 1 of The Tick, which is on Amazon, which is, spoiler alert, I really enjoyed. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.